I didn't realize how much of this podcast would be just me ranting about Rainbow and their decisions, but I guess this is where we are now. So, welcome. Hey there, welcome to the Winx Forever podcast. I'm Lola, creator, host, and lifelong Winx fan. I'm taking a deep dive into the very cool universe of Winx Club. So whether you've been a Winx fan since 2004 like myself, or you vaguely remember the show from your childhood, or you're being introduced to it for the first time, welcome. This is the Winx Forever podcast. Welcome to the first episode of Winx Forever Podcast. I'm your host, Lola. So this episode, I'm going to kind of look at the franchise as a whole. Some of its best moments, some of its worst moments, and really look at not really the history of it. I'm not going to give you a play-by-play of every single thing that happened in the past 17 years in the franchise itself. There's a lot of other resources that do that really, really well already. So I'm going to actually link those on my social media and on my show notes. So the tools I'm going to link for you guys are basically for if you're a first-time listener, watcher, Wixer, whatever. I'm going to link some tools for you guys. It's going to be a good comprehensive guide of how to watch the original series. It's a great guide on Reddit on a thread, so go check that out. There's also a really good YouTube series by Unicorn of War that he just kind of breaks down the franchise history, and it's a really great series. So go check those out in the description below. So the franchise hasn't always been garbage, but I say that in the most respectful way that I can. And I mean, like, it hasn't been always this problematic. In its, first several years, they were referred to as the Disney of Italy. So, I mean, they had to be doing something right? The animated series had, like, a ton of potential that fans flocked to immediately because of their diverse characters or the plots or the storylines. So, from, like, 2004 to 2009... in my opinion, were the golden years of Winx Club. Like the absolute best years of content, of story, of the fandom. Just golden years. Great years. So 2004 to 2009, the franchise gives us seasons 1 through 4 and the first CGI film, Secret of the Lost Kingdom. And the best CGI film, in my opinion. These were the years that, like, the storyline and the series made the most sense and flowed in a cohesive subsequent order. You can watch seasons 1 through 3, and they all make sense together. Obviously, they all build upon each other. And then you watch the movie, Secret of the Lost Kingdom, immediately after season 3, and it picks up right where season 3 left off. Season 3 is Faragonda telling Bloom that she's ready to go, like, embark on this journey to find her parents. And then in the movie, that is what happens. She goes on this journey to find her real birth parents and redeem the whole planet of Domino and, claims her rightful place as Princess of Domino. And it's so powerful and it's so great. It's the best movie. So then season 4 happens and it does exactly what Secret of the Lost Kingdom did for season 3 for the movie. So season 4 picks right back up where Secret of the Lost Kingdom left off, and it was so good. So the girls are older, they're now graduated from Althea College, and they are starting their lives as these guardian fairies, but they find out that there's even more, like, their learning doesn't stop. Obviously, like, they can continue to grow their powers and embark on new missions. Season 4 was great. It had some, complications, like Winx Club's ever-growing need to sell toys. I'm still holding out for the moment that they decide to make Fate the Winx Saga dolls. I'm just, it's Rainbow. They can't not sell toys. what really disturbed this flow of cohesive storytelling in the franchise was when Nickelodeon became a co-producer of the series, and that whole fiasco of a deal. The TLDR of this era was that Rainbow and Nick they kind of just had a miscommunication, not a good connection. They kind of took everything we loved about Winx Club and threw it in the trash. They said, we don't need cohesive storytelling. We don't need character development. What we need are 2 really rushed seasons, specials of Winx Club. Leave out all the character development so we can start producing new crap. And then they also changed the characters' first season clothing to their second season clothing, which is so weird. Such an odd choice. There's just a lot of very odd choices like that in the Nickelodeon dubs / reanimations, and a lot of them didn't make sense. Like, they weren't things that helped improve the story in any way. Yeah, very odd. So all of that went on for like 4-ish years, and then we get better content in Rainbow's deal with Netflix with the World of Winx series in 2016. I loved the art style of World of Winx. It was so good. I know it's a very stylistic, based on like French fashion sketches. It's gorgeous and I love it. There was an unfortunate side effect to this art style that did seem to wash out the pigments of Flora and Aisha's skin tones, which led to other problematic, issues in the fandom, obviously. I don't even know what to say for season 8. There are no words. I feel like that needs to be an entire episode by itself. And I'm going to come out here and say it. I've never seen it all because Lord help me, I can't get through it. It's so bad. It's so bad. They give Icy this whole character arc that's not real and doesn't, going back to the whole, they stopped the cohesive storytelling after season 4. They completely rewrote Icy's origin story, and that is not that's not okay. You can't do that in an already established, I guess you can, they own it, they can do whatever the heck they want, I guess, but why would you ruin a good thing? Freak. I didn't realize how much of this podcast would be just me ranting about Rainbow and their decisions, but I guess this is where we are now, so welcome. So a lot of the franchise's history and common thread all come down to their inability to really follow a storyline or be consistent. Consistency. The most consistent thing about Rainbow and the Winx Club franchise is their ability to stay inconsistent. And I, as a marketer, and as a fan for 17 years, it hurts my heart. And as a writer even, how do you just have a constant revolving door writer's room? That they just don't know what's going on in the show when they're writing season after season? What is going on, Rainbow? What is happening? That brings us to Fate the Winx Saga. I'm not going to get too deep into the minutia of, I can't unpack that in just this episode. That needs to be its own episode, definitely, and it will be very soon. But we get to Fate the Winx Saga, and for a lot of Winx fans, it is a breath of fresh air to think that this is going to be a show that hopefully has consistent writing, follows its storyline, actually establishes characters, and then sticks with it. Like it doesn't seem rushed. It seems well thought out. There are a lot of differing opinions and issues with the show in and of itself, but altogether, this is probably the best produced piece of content that Winx Club as a franchise has given us since 2007 when they premiered Secret of the Lost Kingdom. Like, this is huge. And it is on a worldwide stage, like platform. Like, the world is watching. Literally, the world is, like, literally, it was number one in the world all weekend when it released. Like, it's, as a Winx fan, it's exciting because I followed the show for 17 years. It's still relevant in whatever way you want to take that, And it's the fans that make it that way, The franchise isn't perfect. And a friend of mine recently said so gracefully that Winx Club isn't poetic cinema by any means. But it's the fans that treat it that way, And that's what makes it so special. It's a story that means so much to so many people. And those people are why this show is even still around, 17 years later. Whew, that was a lot. I'm fired up. I hope that you are too, and that you enjoy listening. I really hope so. Tune in to the next episode. I'm not gonna include this. No, I have an outro for this. This is what I have an outro for. Cool. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode of the Winx Forever podcast, consider following our social media linked in the show notes below. The Winx Forever podcast theme is the song She Makes Magic by Big Wild.